Hey, my name's Louis Shine. I am in love with doing social media. I have done social media for so many years. I've done social media during the time that I was a college coach, as an associate head coach at the D1 level, as well as as a head coach and an assistant coach at the D2 level. I also have done social media for several years before that, 3 years where I owned a professional basketball team. Social media was something that I had to keep my hands on because, I just knew that it was something that was really important to the vision of what I was trying to do. So I've done it then. I've worked for some companies in doing it. I've done social media with my church for years, the youth ministry, and have managed a number of individual pages for people, including my pastor and some other folks as well. So 10 plus years of experience, definitely not boasting about it, but it's just been valuable experience. And so I want to have an opportunity to share it with coaches because, with me, formerly being a college coach, there was a lot of things that I learned and it's definitely needed for coaches. And there may be some people on here that aren't coaches. So, hey, that's fine too, because you'll learn some principles today that, you can take and use in any way, shape, or form, whether it's coaching or not coaching. So one of the first things that, that I had to realize as social media is free marketing, FREE, free marketing. And so what coach or what team, couldn't take advantage of free marketing? I mean, some of us may have budgets that, go towards marketing, but you have a really good source with social media that's completely free. So it's definitely, a good thing to take advantage of. As coaches, and I'm going to talk from the standpoint of coaches. So if there's people on here that are not coaches, please forgive me. I'll tie some things in on the end as well. But as far as a coach with social media, there's several groups that you can take advantage of in terms of being able to market whatever you want to and get it out there about your program. You're looking at current athletes. So I'm kind of going to go down the list here. Current athletes, you want to make sure in basketball, we would definitely want to make sure that we continue to recruit our own players. And as you know, this is a social media driven world, and a lot of our young players, they love social media. And so they're always on there as well. So we want to make sure we have great content so that our players can feel proud about where they go, so they can share that content and they can be an extension of what you are doing in your program. Another great body of people that will benefit from you having your social media platforms going are your alumni. When I was at Winthrop University, as well as when I coached at Central State University, I had the opportunity to run the social media platforms. And one of the things that I did with the social media platforms is I began to go back and connect with all the alums of the basketball programs that I was over. And so, to do this, I went and got old media guides. I went through the website where you can go and scroll back down the rosters. And so I went through name by name and literally took each name and looked on social media and tried to find them on social media. And I was able to link up with quite a few people. So, with your social media, you definitely want to link up with your alums and find them on there, because now they're connected back with the program. It's a sense of them feeling like, hey, somebody cared enough about me to reach out to me, to connect me on social media. And now, now I can go back on social media and see what the program is doing that I came from. So you definitely want to target your alums with your social media. Also, if you're a program that, you seek sponsorships or anything of that nature, this is where you really want to have your social media doing really good. So your sponsors and your supporters, it's another group that you want to target with social media. Another group is your faculty and staff. With you being on the school, on the campus, whether you're a high school coach or you're a college coach, you have faculty and staff there. That's another body of people that you directly have access to. And so we'll talk about that a little bit on how you connect with those people. Another group of people that you want to connect with is your student body. My last university that I worked at, we had 7,000 students. And so I'm thinking like, okay, out of those 7,000 students, I can at least get 10% of those students on social media following me. So, or even more. So you have to develop a plan to begin to, get those people following you by reaching out to them or developing street teams, which we'll talk about in a second. Another body of people that you also have is your community. And so, if you have billboards and different things around your community, you definitely want to make sure that you earmark your social media platforms on everything that you put out there. And we'll kind of talk about that in a little bit, but that's just a group of people. You got your current athletes, you got your alums, you have your sponsors and supporters, you have your faculty and staff, you have your current student body, and you have the community in which your school is in. So there's a number of people and a number of different focuses that you can do when using social media. So let's take it all the way back to the beginning, because I know some people on here, you may not even have social media platforms going. So we kind of want to talk about some of the platforms that I feel that you should have. And so setting up your social media. So, and welcome all the coaches out here. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. And so we want to start with setting up your social media. So there are 3 platforms that are a must-have. You must have a Facebook page, you must have a Twitter page, and you must have an Instagram page for your basketball team. All right. So a lot of schools operate specifically on Twitter. A lot of schools just do Instagram. There's very few schools that I have seen that have Facebook pages, but at the 2 schools that I was doing social media at, as well as my pro team, I made sure I had a Facebook page. Why? Because you don't want to leave any genre of people out. You already know that there are those people that they swear by Instagram. They're like, hey, I'm Instagram, I don't do Twitter. Or I'm Twitter, I don't do Instagram. Or I'm Facebook, I don't do none of that other stuff. But there are people that are on each platform that may not go to another platform. So you want to make sure you have that platform covered. So the 3 major ones are Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. And I'll give you a quick story. When I took over social media at Winthrop University, there was a Facebook page, but there wasn't a lot of activity, as well as Instagram and Twitter. There wasn't a lot of activity. So I took it over and I started to kind of push that thing. And I found out that a lot of the alums were on Facebook, that, they're older now, older players, or just older, people in the older, age ranks, that they don't do this, the Instagram and Twitter. They swear by Facebook. And so when we posted our scores after games and things like that, they actually replied on Facebook all the time. And so I was able to touch that sector that was active on there. Now, a lot of the players, a lot of the recruits, they're Twitter, Instagram. So, you just want to cover each part of it. So you want to have those 3 platforms. That's my reasoning why, because you want to make sure you cover everybody. Now, in setting up your social media platform is twofold, because you have your social media as a coach, which I feel like as a coach, you should have a Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram as well, especially if you're a coach that's, looking to thrive in coaching, or you're trying to get in coaching. You want to make sure you have all 3 of those platforms. Why? Because as the university shares their information, or your school shares their information, like we won last night, 62-61, double overtime, you want to go to that platform and share everything that the athletic department shares. You want to share it not only to your basketball page, but also to your coaching page, because here's the thing, people are always watching you. And so if you're showing your body of work on social media as if it's a resume, it's an online resume, and you're showing the things that you're a part of, you're sharing, or you're posting when you and your team go out to community service, or even right now with COVID going on, you share the Zoom screen with all of your players on it, and you're sharing that kind of stuff. And what it says to other people is, hey, this coach is active. This coach is about our program. Or, hey, I'm watching that coach over there. He's doing a very good job. I might try to hire him next year. It's just an online resume that you can keep current. When I did it, I always shared everything that the athletic department shared for women's basketball. When I was at Winthrop, I made sure I shared it, because I wanted to be a part of the team, but I also wanted to have my body of work present as well. And so you want to make sure that as a coach and as if you're doing social media for your school, make sure that you're on Facebook, Twitter, and you're on Instagram. Now, here's another thing too. When you start your Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, or if you already have it done, one of the best things that you can do is try to make sure that your names are all the same. So for instance, when I started the Winthrop women's basketball page, I had to set the URLs. And so what I did was, and I did the same thing at Central. I had Central State WBB. WBB for women's basketball is pretty common across college basketball. For high school is GBB, girls basketball, and men's basketball, boys basketball. So find the name on each platform that you can make the same. And it's for branding purposes. So like I say, at Central Winthrop, I did Winthrop WBB, Winthrop Women's Basketball, and I made that the same username on each platform. So now, as people begin to see that, it isn't like I'm doing Winthrop Women's Basketball, or then I'm doing WUWBB. I mean, it just, it can work, but for branding purposes. So now when you send out things or send out emails, or when you put up a billboard, you can say at Winthrop WBB on all platforms. It makes it very easy for those who are trying to find you to find you. Same as a coach. If I were you as a coach, I would make my username, so my at Lewis Shine, I have that on every single platform. Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, Snapchat, like every single platform is at Lewis Shine. So now when someone wants to look me up, whether that's a recruit, whether that's a parent, whether that's a AD or a head coach, or whoever it might be, they can just type my name in on any platform and I'm going to come up. Real easy. So you definitely want to bring that together when you start your social media. Try to make all your names the same. Like if you're a coach, and if you say Coach 2568, and they go try to look up Lewis Shine, it might not show up. So now I might miss an opportunity because somebody's looking for me and they can't find me. And especially if you're in the coaching ranks, there's so many people that have to get in touch with us. We have to get in touch with people. And so, it makes it very simple for people to find us. Like I say, especially for recruits, because, they're always looking. And so you definitely want to try to make your social media platforms the same, so that when you market it, you only have to market it once, versus, hey, on Twitter, I'm this, on Facebook, I'm this, on Instagram, I'm this, on YouTube, I'm this. It begins to be a whole lot. So if you try to make it the same, I think it will make it very easy for yourself. It's been very easy for me to do that. I love doing it. When I had my pro team, I did it then. And for marketing purposes, because now for me with my pro team, I had to generate revenue. And so I had to make things as easy as possible for the consumer, for the fan, for those who are trying to find me. So I had to, just keep that in mind as you build your social medias. You want to make sure that you try to get your at or your username the same. All right. So now you have your pages, you have your username the same. So now you're ready to go. So I want to talk through, I got 10 different things that, and you guys can write these down, but just know too that I'm going to post this video on my YouTube. So afterwards, I'll be giving you guys instructions on how to get the video, notes as well. I have some notes for you guys in a PDF that I want to send out. to you, as well as I have some examples of some of the things I'm talking about that I've pulled from some of my social media platforms that I've worked for, and people that I worked with. Their pages are still live. So some of the videos and different things that I've taken from there, I've compiled them in a list, and I want to make sure I get them to you guys. So at the end, I'll be giving you guys my email. You can email me if you want those things, and I can send them out to you. All right, so here's some different posts that you want to, and please forgive me because in the short time that we're in, I can teach on this for probably about 4 or 5 hours. It's a lot of stuff, but I'm trying to just cram a few things in just to get you guys started, or just give you a few nuggets that you might be able to just use in what you're doing. And we'll open up for some questions as well at the end. But here's some ideas for some different posts that I've done and that you can keep in your bag. So, as the season goes on, in season, off season, these are things that you can kind of just pull out to make posts. A lot of people ask me, what should we be posting? And so here's some of the things. So first thing, get your players' birthdays and your coaches' birthdays, because whenever they have birthdays, you definitely want to post their birthday, whether that's in a graphic of them playing or a game shot or some type of cool post that you can put up just to say happy birthday, Michael Jordan, or whatever your player's name is, and you tag them in it. And I'll tell you, when I did that at the last school I was coaching at, there was actually one time where we about missed a player, and they got on me. They was like, Coach Lou, you gonna post my thing today? They were excited. You know what I'm saying? So they get excited about those things, and that does so much more than It's celebrating their birthday. They're proud of it. Their school celebrated their special day, and it's also part of recruiting, because you want to continue to recruit your players that you have there. You don't want to get them there on campus, or even high school coaches get them there, but then you just yell at them every day and making them run and going through practice, but you don't really touch them anymore. You don't call them or anything. Like, doing stuff on social media for them is one of those ways that you can reach out and touch one of your players to show them that you care. So players' birthdays and coaches' birthdays, make sure you get a list. I had a Excel document, Word document, and I had my list of players' birthdays and coaches' birthdays, so that when it was that time, either I worked ahead or maybe on the same day, I would create a birthday graphic, or the athletic department graphic designer, I would send it over to them and have them create a graphic, and then I would post it. So that's just one of the things that you can post in season and out of season. And then another thing you can do too is upcoming games. One of the things I want to share with you guys in the email is we did a really good job, the places I coached, in putting things out there for upcoming games. And this is something I want to really share with you guys, because you might be a school that your social media is not jumping by any means necessary. It's not happening for you, and you want to get that thing jump started. And so one of the things I did, and this was at Central State University, one of the things I did was I started using social media to really gain traction for our program. The men's program there, they had pretty good crowds, but being a women's basketball coach, our crowds were not the best. And then coaching at a HBCU, we played right before the men. So I'm thinking like, well, hey, we need a crowd too. And I'm saying, all right, I'm gonna use social media to help get the word out, about what we're doing, what our games and things like that. And on our campus back then, the big thing was Twitter. Twitter was huge back then when I was at Central State. And so what I did was I recruited a few people. I recruited like a baby street team. So I had like 5 to 10 people that whenever we had a game coming up, so say tomorrow was the game, I would recruit those people and I would give them an assignment. I say, hey, we're going for 100 retweets of tomorrow's game flyer. And I need you guys to help me get these retweets. So I need each one of you to get somebody on campus to retweet this. So if all 10 of you get 10 people, that's 100. So that was 100 retweets. And then, that's not even talking about my players. That's not talking about myself, the coaches, the trainers. Like, I was going to do my part of the job as well. And so you get those 10 people and you get that flyer, whether you created it or whether the athletic department created it, and you take it and you put it on your team social media. And we started with Twitter. I also posted it on Instagram and Facebook, but Twitter has a way of getting that thing out there quick where, Instagram, you can't really share it, but on your story. Facebook, you can share it, but Facebook isn't what it used to be. It's jumping in some ways, but as far as sharing, Twitter is like the platform where when you share something and it catches a wave, it will go quick. So literally, we would hit that 100 retweet mark and the word would get out on campus. And then also we had student government people and the student organizations. They would do like dorm runs for us like an hour before the game. So, I was doing certain things to make sure we had a crowd, but I was using social media. And so develop a street team, get some interns, use your team managers to help push your agenda, whatever your agenda might be. It might be getting the word out about people coming to your tent for homecoming. It might be getting the word out about people coming to your office to buy old merchandise that you're trying to raise money to sell with. You're trying to sell those items, whatever your agenda, to get people to the games, whatever. You can use social media for that, but you have to get people engaged in your social media. So literally there'll be times where, I would be on campus and as I'm going to lunch, I might stop 10 people and say, hey, make sure you follow women's basketball page. And I had several other people doing that. And so this goes back to what I was talking about your different crowds. You have to, and I'm still talking about the things to post, but I'm kind of jumping around a little bit. So you got to get your current athletes engaged. Get them to share your stuff when you post it. Your alums, find them, share things with them. Your faculty and staff, you may have to develop a system. Hey, we're going to go on campus every Tuesday. We're going to set up a table, and everybody that passes by in the student union, we're going to make sure they follow us and let them know we have some great things going on in the women's basketball program or the men's basketball program. You just have to go guerrilla mode with it. If you have when I was at my last school, there was about 1,400 faculty and staff, and I'm thinking like, okay, so I wanted them to come to our games, so I have to get out there. And social media is an easy way to connect with people. And it's a free way. It's easy. It's not a thing where it's so like, it's easy. People will do it. It's not a heavy thing. You're not asking them for money. They're like, oh yeah, we'll follow you, that kind of thing. So you definitely want to ask people. And then your student body, go around campus, get the coaches out, go and talk to people, go talk to classes, speak on campus at events, and afterwards put your social media. Hey guys, follow us. Make sure also at your games, make sure that there's a social media presence somewhere, whether it's on the Jumbotron, whether that's a table there, whether you have the announcer saying something. Hey, make sure you follow the Chicago Bulls on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook at Chicago Bulls or whatever. Make sure that there's a presence. Also, another way to grow your social media, make sure that on everything that you have, whether it's your business cards, whether it's your email signature, make sure, on my email signature, I had my Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. And on most signatures, especially in Outlook, you can go and hyperlink it. So literally the person that's reading it, all they have to do is click on it. They don't have to leave the page and type something else in another browser and go to it. They can click right there and they can follow you. So make sure that if you're building your audience on social media, you want to make sure that your social media handles for yourself as a coach or your team is on everything you send out, letterheads, all stationery, all print media. Make sure it's somewhere on there so that, and you can take an evaluation, and especially in this off time right now, just go back and think through kind of what do you have? What do people see a lot of? What do we send recruits all the time? What are we sending our players? Make sure your social media is on there, because a lot of people today, they go to social media more than they go to .coms. So if I gave you my website, I'm on Twitter at Louis Shine, but my website is louisshine.com. 90% of people probably would go to the Twitter real quick. You know what I mean? This is how people are. That's how things are going. So let's get back to this idea for posts. So upcoming games. Also, your final score of games. If you have a social media team at your games, you know, you on Twitter, you can do the score. So after every quarter, maybe with a picture or something like that, you want to keep things consistent like that. I'll tell you guys a quick story. I was able to go to a Tennessee Lady Vols game probably, I don't know, about 6 years ago. And they had a setup that I've never seen at any game, maybe an NBA game, but not a college game. This was the first setup that I've ever seen like this. So I go in there and I'm just kind of, you know, when I go into the arena, I'm kind of just looking around because I just like to see what other colleges are doing. And so I look to one side, I'm on court side, the band is on this side, and then on the other side behind the basket, there's like 3 rows. So imagine like 3 press rows, 1, 2, 3. And on each one of those rows, there was a big orange table, one of those big tablecloth kind of things. And the first row was Facebook. So it had like big Facebook across with the Facebook logo. And then in the second row was Twitter. And so literally, and in the third row, Instagram. So like this was their social media section. And so literally during the game, people were standing up, sitting down, going, take pictures, come back, you know, like they were typing something. They were actually active during the game. And so it like really amazed me because I'm like, man, they're really intentional about what they're doing with social media to the point where they have people working the game and getting behind the scenes, whether that's the players running out of the tunnel so they can get that. And now they can put it on their social media and it reaches their extended family, whether you're, you know, a Lady Vol, former Lady Vol that's overseas somewhere or wherever, you know, I mean, it reaches to your extended family and you give them a chance to see more than just what they see watching the game on TV or online. They get a behind the scenes peek. And that's one of the things that you really want to do with your social media. You want to reach out to the people that don't get a chance to see the behind the scenes. You know, if I'm sitting at the game, I can see the players run out. But if I'm not at the game, all I see is the timeout, commercial, back to the game. So you want to give the viewing audience things that they don't get to see, parents that can't travel to the game. You want to keep those people in mind, and you want to give as much behind the scenes footage on your social media and content as possible. And I know this takes people, you know, and so sometimes you have to use your team managers. I mean, a lot of the time when I was doing it at D1, D2, I did it myself because I was just quick on the draw. I was able to get a video here, video there, and just things like that. You know, I would make special efforts to get it. You know, when we first came into the arena while the players were going to get dressed, I would walk upstairs and, you know, like the last, you know, one of the last years I coached, when we went to, we played at Wisconsin, we played at Georgia, we played at JMU, I would just run up to the top of the arena and I would get like a pan of the arena and say, hey, game day, you know, just different things like that. And so let's get back to this list, ideas for posts, starting lineups. You know, you see some of the people sometimes may have a list of people on Twitter or Facebook, Instagram of the starting lineup with a graphic of all 5 players, or some people just do a text. So that's just another way of engaging with your social media crowd. Another thing, honors. Anytime you get players that get honors, anytime you get coaches that get honors, anytime you get alums of the program that get honors. So if you have an alum that played in your program and they're playing pro ball, or for the high school coaches, they're playing college ball somewhere and they get freshman of the week, or, you know, they get player of the month, or that pro player, you know, gets player of the year. Or if you have an alum that just does something great, that's non-athletic, you know, they're an alum of your program. So you want to make sure that you honor them. So what a better way to honor them than to make up a graphic, put it on social media, tag them, just letting them know that you know, you're appreciated by us, that we're keeping an eye on you. I was talking to one of my friends that coaches in the Big Ten, and I ended up talking to a person that played for their team, but is now coaching in another Power 5 conference. And we were just talking. And I'm like, hey, you know, she's down there. Hey, anytime she gets honored because she's an alum of your program, you know, keep that in mind. So we're going to write that person down and we're going to watch that person. So anytime something happens with that alum, you know, we're going to post something. or any alum. You just want to have a watch list of the people that left your program that are doing great things so that you can honor them openly whenever you get a chance. Your commitments. So this will be more for college, but anytime you get player commitments, I do see a lot of colleges, they're doing the player commitments. And when somebody commits, they're actually, putting posts up, but some colleges don't. And I think that, is a great thing to do because it broadens your audience. It helps you with recruiting because now you're celebrating the player that's there. Other recruits see that kind of stuff and, it's just a domino effect. So you want to make sure you celebrate your commitments. And we got a question. Anyone have suggestions on a great graphic design website? What do you guys use? And I'll get back to that question too. Tyler, if you can answer this for me, are you speaking of a graphic design website in which you can do your own graphics yourself, or a graphic design website in which you want to reach out to somebody to do it for you? Answer that for me, and then I can further answer your question. Here's another thing, ideas for posts. Where you will be as far as recruiting. This is more for college as well. So in the summertime, and I'll send you guys some examples of what I've done. I've done some cool video things that I've designed myself. Where you're going to be. So we were going to several places one year. And so I put this real cool map of the South. And then I put I-95, and then I put the graphic of each tournament. So like the Run for Roses, I went online and grabbed that graphic, and then I went to the UAA finals in Atlanta. I grabbed that graphic and put it up there, so that now when we show it on social media, recruits can see where we're going to be. But it's not only saying it, but there's a cool graphic to go with it, so it can be intriguing, it can be nice, and it's almost like a contest these days because social media goes crazy with colleges putting cool stuff up there. So it's pretty cool. And so let me answer this question, Tyler. Yes, your own graphics. Doing the graphics myself as a head coach, high school. As far as doing your graphics, I was going to get to that later, but one of the things I use is you guys can write this down. For my videos, I use an app, and I have an Android, so don't shoot me down because I got Android. I love it though; it works for me. But for Android, there's an app called Power Director, and it comes with a watermark on it, but you pay like $4.99 and you can get the watermark off. I've been using it probably for almost 8 years now. I've done all my stuff with my pro team, church, college teams, Android. But Power Director. Now, if you have a Apple, you can use Movie Maker. I've done some things in Movie Maker as well. But when I design my graphics, there's two different things I use. I use Microsoft Publisher because it's always worked for me. And it's, you kind of got to go, where you can on that. But Microsoft Publisher, it does some things where it makes it so easy to kind of do graphics. For me, I can slide things on, slide things off, take backgrounds off. So I can do a lot of things in that. And I'll send you guys a few other things as well in the email that I'm going to send you that you can use. You can use Photoshop. I'm decent in it. There's so many tutorials that, and Adobe Spark. So there's a lot of different things out there that you can use. And so I'll share some of the things that I use. Sometimes I use a combination of different apps that kind of bring what I need together, as well as some different things online. So, but mainly I use my Power Director because I love making videos. And I also use Microsoft Publisher and Photoshop, Adobe Photoshop. So those are the ones I use. Here's a couple more things with ideas for different posts. If there's like different history points in your school, like you won a championship in 1995. So now it's 2020. But when May the 15th comes up, hey, on this day in 1995, our school won their 6th championship, So you could create something really nice because now, and then you can tag those players that were a part of that championship. And so it just really works pretty cool. And so, always keep those history dates where something major happened in your program, or you won something, or just, coach won so many wins, 100 wins, or just any of those milestones. You want to kind of keep a list of that, or you want to make sure that you go and get that list, find out the history. Sometimes when you first get in a job, you might have to go and find out everything, but you can get a lot of ammo by finding out the history, because there's history in every program. So also you can do workouts and practice. You don't want to show all your goods, what I'm saying, like a play in practice, but you can flash like real quick, lay up here, just something to kind of give your viewers on social media behind the scenes, at what you're doing. All right. So real quick, just want to talk through a couple things, and then I want to open up for questions. All right. So my different platforms, when I was at Winthrop, I would do an invite for every game. So if you're a coach at a college, on Facebook, you can create an event invite. And so literally I did that for every one of our games, home and away. And then I would invite people to it, especially people in those areas. I would invite those people so that they can get like a formal invite. But it was a really cool way to invite people. And the Facebook allows you to put like a map on there. It is a really cool feature. So on your fan page for your team on Facebook, you can create a calendar. So when your season calendar comes out, you can, every home game, every away game, you can put in there. And it's really cool. It gives directions, allows you to put the address, all those kind of things. So it's pretty cool. When I was at Central, I had to, like I said, I had the street team. So we had a way of making things go viral. So we would get a street team and we would push them out to the campus and say, hey, go get these retweets for us. And we would push it. And then I really seen results at our games because people would come out to the games. And, you would think that, hey, there's students on campus, we want them to come out. They should come out. They should come support. But you got to think that students, whether it's in high school or college, they're thinking about so many other things, and so coming to a game might be the last thing they want to do, especially with school and everything going on. Now, if you're at a big school that just has that flavor, that prestige already around your program where it's going to be sold out regardless, then great. But, if you're that team that you're that coach at that school that needs a little push, then, this is one of the things you can do. Use social media to get your crowds up, connect with people, get on campus, get people to follow you, follow them, build your crowd. So when you put something out there, they'll know what's going on and then they'll come. All right. With my pro team, like I mentioned before, social media was big for me then because I had players, I had pro players. I wanted to get them out there. I had to show them how to brand themselves. So at some point in your program, you might want to sit down and have that social media talk with your players to show them. You got your high school players. You got to let them know that they need to watch their conduct on social media and clean it up because colleges are watching. And if they want scholarships, one of the first things that college coaches look at is social media. And if I look on there and I see a player that's turning up and just doing things that I don't feel reflect what my program is about, I'm going to look past their ability and I'm going to look to the next player. So, as a high school coach, your high school coaches, make sure you have that talk with your players. As a college coach, make sure you have that talk with your players because now you have donors and supporters of your program that they're looking at your program. They're looking at that new player that you just offered a scholarship. They're looking at that player. And so, if you choose that player to come to your school, you give them a letter of intent, they sign, and then, on their conduct online is trash, then that's a reflection to, your AD, all the people that are in your program, they're looking at that player. And so you want to make sure that, you have players in your program that are keeping their conduct tight on social media. And you may need to have that talk with them. High school coaches, college coaches, have that talk. I know when I was at my last school, we had a guide and we had it in our handbook, different things, different conduct that we wanted our players to go by. And it's only going to help them because they have life after college. And so you can let them know that, hey, you got to leave here one day. This is your online resume, so you guys got to let them know. I'll go ahead and answer this one. I just got a few things, but I'm going to answer this. So sorry, can you please revisit what was your street team students? So I had managers. I also was very connected with student orgs. So like any school, college, even high school, there's a ton of student orgs. When I was at Winthrop, we had, I believe it was 137 student organizations. And so a lot of times when you get, tied in with the organizations and then you show up to do, for instance, I was at Central State and, one of the organizations was doing a water drive to take water to Flint, Michigan. Well, I stopped over on my lunch and helped them out. I made myself available on campus. I showed my face. I helped. I became involved with what other people are doing. So now there's going to be a time where I may need a little help. And so they're like, Coach, what you need? What can we do to help? I'm saying, hey, we trying to get the word out about the game tonight. Can y'all help? Can you get your organization to tweet this flyer out? That kind of stuff. So, that's just, I just got creative with it and, it really worked, because if you show love, you're going to get love shown back to you. And that's a really important part as a coach, just to get integrated within the campus community so that, as you help, you can receive help as well. And one of the ways that I used the help that I was given was like social media, because we wanted crowds, because we wanted to win. And, we wanted that kind of support. And so it just worked for us. That's kind of one of the things I did. And so in closing, and then we're going to ask some questions here. One of the things I want to do, like I said, my website is lewisshine.com, I got some resources on there for coaches. I also have some free resources on there as well. Also my podcast, link is there. I have about 40 episodes right now of podcasts that I have coaches, pro coaches, college coaches, full of knowledge. They drop nuggets and just share things that can help coaches. And so I created that platform so that coaches can go there, players can go there and just learn from those who have went through their life and succeeded at something, whether it's the coaching ranks or the pro sports ranks. And it's a heavy focus on basketball, although I have some NFL guys on there and some different people. I do focus on basketball and I have a lot of coaches on there. So make sure you check that out. It's Interview You Podcast. All right. And I'll give you guys that information too. Also, I'm going to, I have a PDF of the notes from this session I want to send to everybody. So if you want that PDF, as well as the link to the video, because I'm going to post this, I can send that link to you. Email me. Just send me your email. My email is lewisshine.com. I'm sorry, lewisshine@hotmail.com. lewisshine@hotmail.com. Send me an email and you can put something very simple. Send me the notes and I will get you everything. And then, also I'll put some information on there because you might be a coach that you need somebody to further work with you with your social media. You might need your social media set up. You might need it managed. You might need help with graphics. You might need help doing videos. I've done many of those things, and I want to offer, my support and help to you. So I'll send you an email with details. If you're that person, just please let me know. But I want to open it up for questions. Any questions you might have about social media or where you are in the process, or you need help, just doing anything social media wise. I just try to really create a form, and honestly, in a half hour, 45-minute, session, there's a lot. And that's why I wanted to go further and send you guys some things because, and also I wanted to do this to give you a chance to ask questions. I didn't want to just create a video and put it out there. I wanted to be able to answer some questions from you guys and just kind of interact. And so, anything that you have to ask, just go ahead and ask now. We'll take some time to just answer some questions. I hope that what I went through was helpful. I just tried to come from the standpoint of just sharing some of the things that I've done and just some of the things that can give you ideas to post. I've tried to do pretty much anything. Whenever we had our schedule come out, I would do a big graphic schedule with the picture of the away arena, the home arena with the logos on it, with our players is flashing, video. I like that kind of stuff. And, one of the things that I did, guys, is as far as your conference that you're in, like, I know we want to win on the court, but one of my things I wanted to do is I wanted to win at every front. I wanted to win at social media. I wanted to win on the court. I wanted to do those kind of things. So I took every team in the conference, made a grid. So I would put my team, USC Upstate, Presbyterian. I put those colleges down. And then I would go on their social media. I want to know how many followers they have. I want to know how many followers they have and all of those things, because at the end, I want to be at the top, because recruits look at that kind of stuff. Sponsors look at that kind of stuff. I want to be the best. So I wanted to exceed, my competitors, in my conference. And let me answer this question here. You said creativity is the hardest part. I'll get back to that. Do you have some tips for using social media in recruiting? Yes. So with recruiting, of course, with the NCAA, you have different rules. You can't comment, but now you can do things like share, you can like. So if you got 10 top recruits, you must follow them on every social media. You want to follow their parents. You want to follow their head coach. You want to follow their AAU coach. You want to follow those people that are close, their sisters and brothers. You want to follow those people because you want those people to have their eyes on what you're doing as a program. And so you want your social media to speak what you're doing. So if you're doing community service, speak what you're doing on social media. If you got a 3.5 team GPA, you want to post that in some kind of nice graphic. If you just won your 10th game in a row, you want to put that up there so that they can see it. And then you also want to make sure that you have, and this is one thing you can do, those players that you're watching and recruiting, make sure you have a notification so that when they post, you can go on there and like their post so that you can show that you're engaged in what they're doing. Because I'm telling you, players look at that stuff. Players are looking at what you post on social media. And so if you post right now, one of the best things that colleges can do is post a sweet video of your arena or your facility or whatever the best of your facilities is, whether that's your gym or your weight room, like those kind of things. You want to flash those things up now because nobody's taking visits. There's nothing happening, there's no on-campus anything. So those are the kind of things you want to begin to show, those highlights of your campus or of your program. You want to put those things out there. So as far as recruiting, man, you want to push your numbers up. You want to follow those people that are important, the recruits, the coaches, the parents, the college, high school coaches, the AAU coaches. You want to follow those people and you want to put your stuff out there. The more content you put out there, the more interest you're going to get and your numbers will go up. Two of the programs that I really, really watch when I've learned a lot of things is Duke women's basketball as well as Duke men's basketball. And one of my favorites is Ohio State football. Their social media, I say it's probably one of the best in the nation. They do a lot of things on their social media. And so this is what I always say, with recruiting or with anything, even with, I think it was Kendra up above that said, just being creative. One of the things you have to do is, in being creative that I do, I go and look at other programs and what they're doing. Because if I'm not exposed to what's out there, sometimes it can be hard to jumpstart what you want to do. So take time and look at some of those Power Fives. I normally go to the top and I go try to find out who is the best at doing social media. I want to go find out what they're doing. I'm going to look at the Brooklyn Nets in the NBA. They do a great job. You want to look at some of those higher teams. Look at the Patriots. They do a decent job. The Cowboys. You don't always have to look within your genre, your basketball or whatever sport you're coaching. Look outside of that, because sometimes you can find things on the outside of your sport that are like, man, that's really cool what they did. I'm going to convert it into a basketball post. You know what I'm saying? So Yeah, look at what other people are doing as far as recruiting. And like I said, with that email that I want to send you guys, I have some examples of some things that I did that I want to share with you too. So, like I said at the end, make sure you send me an email, louisshine@hotmail.com. And the email's on my page, on my Facebook page as well. Just send me an email and I'll send you some links of some different Facebook, Instagram, some Twitter posts that I did that I believe will help you too. Any more questions? Any more questions? I looked at NBA teams. I mean, I looked at non-sports pages. You know, you just, it'll help fuel your creativity. So make sure you guys have the 3 platforms: Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, at least. Now, if you're looking for extra credit and you have a handle on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, start a YouTube. Duke men's basketball, they have a YouTube and it's jumping. And so get a YouTube as well. If you want to go that far, or if you have the personnel that can manage that, that's that next step that you want to use, because, you know, you can do interviews, post-game with coach interviews, different things that you can post up there. That's another resource too. So that would be my 4th platform if I were you guys to go to as a coach and as a team. YouTube. Oh, no problem, Kendra. I love doing it. I love helping coaches. It's pretty awesome. I just have fun doing it. So, and then also, before you guys get off, make sure you click the share button to this video, because there may be other coaches that they just need to hear this as well. And like I say, I wasn't able to get through a whole lot, but I hope that what I went through can help you in some way. And like I say, you can always reach out and ask questions. But I hope it helps you in some way. So I'm going to be on for probably another 7 to 10 minutes. I just want to answer any questions that you guys have in terms of social media. Adam, no problem, man. No problem. Mike, no problem, man. My pleasure. My pleasure. Definitely love doing it, enjoy doing it. Is there any part of what I went over that you guys want me to go back through? I'll be more than happy to do that. But yeah, social media can just really enhance what you're doing. You know, you want it to be an online resume for yourself as a coach, and you want it to be really a virtual billboard for your team. You know, you want people to know what's going on. Like, post your workouts, post things that you're doing. Aaron, no problem, man. My pleasure. But post things that you're doing. You know, even, you know, you as a coach, post your workouts, post an individual workout. Let the world know what you're doing, because, you know, if they don't know that you exist, then they don't know that you exist. So let people know that your program is out there, high school or college. You know, let them know that you exist. You know, it can connect you to new fans, new recruits, new players for your team. It can connect you to a financial resource that you didn't know that was out there. You know, you definitely want to make sure that you stay tight on your social media. So any more questions? I'm gonna hang around for a little bit just to make sure that if anybody has questions. Coach Joel, man, appreciate it, man. Thanks for hopping on. I really appreciate it. My pleasure for helping out. Francis, how do players that went to small schools get seen by the decision makers? So we're talking players now. My answer is the same thing. Hey, Coach Justin, man, thanks for hopping on. But Francis, you know, a player has to have a presence on social media. I'm going to get on here at one point and I'm going to actually do a session for players, because I think sometimes players use social media and they're putting the wrong things on there, and they're not understanding how to brand themselves. You know, I was a pretty decent hooper, I would think, but if I had social media, I probably would have got my stuff out there and more people would have knew about me. But I came up in the VHS days, so I couldn't send VHSs to 100 colleges. But here's the thing. Here's one thing that players can do outside of social media. You can generate a general email and send that email to every college in the nation. I'm talking about, Hey, Coach, hope all is well. My name is Louis Shine. My GPA is 3.5. I want to major in architecture. I'm a basketball player. I'm a point guard. I'm 6'1", 180. I average 17 points a game. You know, you put all your stuff. I got a 23 ACT score. I'm interested in your program. Would love to speak to you about the possibilities. Here's my senior schedule. Would love for you to check out a game. And send that to every college in the nation or every college that you might be interested in. You got D1, D2, D3. You got NAIA. Then you got a USCAA. There's so many different. One of my guys, I put some divisions up there, but he added like 4 or 5 more. It's like 4,000 or 5,000 schools, man. And so players have to answer your question, Francis, players have to let people know that they exist, because if they don't know you exist, they don't know you exist. And some people think that they'll just find you, but nowadays there's millions of kids trying to get scholarships, so you have to let them know. Let's see here. Graphic design you use, are they apps or online on a desktop? So the Power Director is a app. Microsoft Publisher, that's on the desktop. So that's what I use, as well as your Photoshop, that's on the desktop as well. For me personally, those are the ones I use. If there's a job that I just can't do, I might outsource it. But those are the ones I use. Coach Tyler, hope that answers your question. Coach Tyler said, also, how do you feel about field level app posting on social media when a player has strong interest? I can be honest with you, I have never used field level app. Would love to chat with you about it, or I may just go and check it out, but I've never used it before. So that's my honest answer on that one. Francis, if you're a coach looking for job opportunities at the next level, what are 2 important characteristics that you think an AD or board is looking for to run their program, to run their program to the next level? Man, I've been on some mock interviews and different things on the last few days, man, and a lot of ADs, man, it's to be honest, there's no one straight shooter answer. You know, it's per job. So I've talked to ADs that they're looking for someone to come in and give their players a great college experience. Another AD may want to win. For another AD, they're looking for someone to, do different things. So it's really, when you may think that, oh man, they're losing team, the job is open, oh, I can go in and win. That may not be their highest priority. So I think that as a coach, you have to do your homework and see what the school needs. And sometimes you may have to reach out to people that are close to the program, or maybe a coach that you know that used to coach, and just kind of see what their needs are. And that'll kind of give you a feel of, what they're looking for. So it varies, man. It's very broad, honestly, from what I've experienced and been told. Hey, Nick. Man, thank you for hopping on, Nick. I'm glad you were able to get on, man. I appreciate you, man. Look forward to working with you. And appreciate what you do as well, man. And thank you for the kind words. We'll give it about another 5 minutes. Anybody has any questions? Francis, man, no problem, man. Appreciate what all you've done for me too, man. Yeah, Danielle, Coach Danielle, you just have to get in and find out, what's going on with each AD, you just what they're looking for. That's what I've learned. So, sometimes if you email an AD, if a job is open, ask them, hey, what are you looking for? Just be honest with them. Ask them. I mean, that's what I would do. So, any other questions? This has been fun. I love talking about this stuff because, Man, social media is it's free. It is completely free. You know what I'm saying? It's free marketing, especially if you're a high school or college team that you don't have a budget. Your budget is low. Like, use social media. When I had my professional basketball team, I did not use money to market. I ran my marketing budget like I didn't use money. I marketed. So I use social media. I spent $0. You know, I sent out press releases. I connected with the media. I gave them free tickets to give out on air for a PSA. You know, you just do certain things, but social media is really it's huge. So, you know, make sure you take time to put into it and, you know, learn, you know, watch YouTube videos, reach out to myself as a resource. You know, I want to take the years that I've learned, you know, to be able to help. I've managed social media platforms for people. I've created graphics for people. I've been hired out to do a number of things because sometimes people may not know how to do it, and sometimes they don't have the time to do it. I mean, as a coach, it's a grind out there, you know, and so, I mean, you know, you have to outsource sometimes. So I love doing it and would love to help you. One more question from Francis. Oh man, Francis, I love to use the platform I have, man. It's the least I can do, man. Francis says, one more question, social media wise, is it best to have a separate accounts or one account that you try not to mix business and pleasure? It says, today's society, they watch your social media accounts. So for me, I can only explain it with what I do. I have a main account. So the account that you guys are on right now is actually my public figure or fan page, you know. And that is the page that I try to use strictly for basketball. So when I coached, that's the page, this page that you guys are on, this is the page that I shared everything to. When I do these kind of talks and there's other videos on here, it's basketball. So I try to use this page as strictly for basketball. My other page, which is my regular page, you know, that anybody can go on, I use that page to share stuff from my mom, my wife, you know, scriptures, you know, I put different posts up, you know, just anything can go on there. That's kind of like my news feed, comment feed, but this page that you guys are on is my basketball stuff, my talks, when I put my camps up there, anytime I do anything as far as speaking to people or podcasts, like this page is what I use. So if you just have a regular page where you're just being you and you might put things up that are funny, you know, you can have that page. You can put them together, but I just tend to want to separate them only because when one of you coaches comes to this page, you might just want to say, hey, where's the coaching material? I'm trying to get fed. Where is it? Give it to me. And you can come to this page and you can literally scroll down for months and see different things about basketball. And so, you know, that's kind of how I would do it, only because, like, for me, doing basketball stuff is my business, and podcasts and coaching. So I kind of keep that in the same thing, and I just keep that on one lane. So hope that answered your question. Coach Fuller, man, thanks for hopping on. And my wife says it's best to keep your business separate. Boom. There it is. Love the left hand ring finger. Love you too, man. I got my wedding ring on this one. I got my championship ring on this one, man. I love wearing this championship ring, and it comes from hard work, and I wear it a lot. And my wife probably gets tired of me wearing it because I'll be trying to wear it to church or something, you know, so it's funny. Coach Fuller, when recruiting players for your program, what are your thoughts on a player posting stuff on social media all the time? Well, for me, players, they post a lot, and I hope I'm answering your question, so tell me if I'm not answering it. But if I look at a player and they always posting stuff on social media, to me, I'm going to think that they're not using time. You know, why are they always on there? Like, you're not using time. You need to be working out. You know, so I'm really watching, because if they're always posting stuff on the minute, on the hour, first of all, I'm gonna see what kind of stuff they're posting. But I'm definitely watching it as a coach. Okay, other offers and just news feeds. I'm watching that. I guess for me as a coach, I watch that too because if a player is just, I guess they have a right to be excited about offers and things. But if I'm recruiting them, I'm kind of, I guess my recruiting style is different because, I want to go after those players that want to, come to where I'm come to play for me. So if they're posting tons of offers, I think you can kind of look at it in a way to where they're just fielding the interest, like they're getting offers and they're enjoying it. But I guess, and I'm not sure if I'm answering your question, but it may come a time where it's like, hey, what, are you interested in this program? So I don't know if that answers your question, but, I guess if I was a college player, I probably wouldn't post all my offers because it's just not about that for me, but people are excited and they have a right to. But I wouldn't think too much of it. But if a player is posting stuff that's just like, okay, what are you doing? Like, should you be working on your game, or watching a game or watching some film? I mean, you think about the players that are elite and doing great, like, man, they ain't got a lot of time for social media, So I'm definitely looking at that too because I'm like, okay, why are you always posting? Like, do some homework, do something. Like when I came up, man, there was no social media, so we were working. We were doing toe raises between commercials. we were doing, push-ups and running in the strength shoes, and we were doing all kinds of stuff. So hope that answers. Any more questions? Anyone? Man, I'm grateful for the response tonight. I'm grateful for people getting on. And I hope I was able to help. Yeah, get in the gym, man. It was like, man, like if I done tweeted 50 times today, like what? Like to me, I'm like, well, if you come to my school, if I give you some film to watch, like, you're gonna watch that film and you're gonna be tweeting. But like I say, it's not always an indicator that they're not on their game, but I like to check it out. I like to see what's happening. So any more questions, anybody? I'm gonna wrap up here in a few minutes. I just want to make sure I answer any questions that anybody has, so that I can help. Make sure, like I say, make sure that you guys click the share button so that people can be blessed by this. And if you want the PDF notes for this, as well as the video, because I'm going to repost this on YouTube, and I want to put some graphics and different things on there so you can see some things while I'm talking. But I wanted to do this live so I could be interactive, But if you want the material that I'm going to send you, please email me, lewisshine@hotmail.com. And then I'll send you a lot of cool things. I have some free resources on YouTube and my website. So I want to share with you all as coaches. I have a coaches series that I did 8 coaches for my podcast. I did a coaching series. So I got some great coaches on there. One of my buddies, the coaches at Baylor that's coached in the NBA for 13 years. He's on there. I have a 2-time national champion, Dixie Jeffers. She's the head coach at Capital University in Columbus, Ohio. They're dropping a lot of nuggets. And so I got a lot of people on there that, you guys can listen to, and it'll be great information for you. Hey, Coach Fuller, just email me so I can have your email and I'll send it over to you. What advice do you have for a current college player that has entered the transfer portal? How to promote themselves? Well, you have to just reach out to colleges, get you a list of colleges that you feel like you could play for, and start reaching out. You have to be your own promoter. You can't wait until people look in the portal to see that you're available. Start reaching out to schools and start looking at rosters, see what they need, start emailing coaches, calling them, you just have to get aggressive. Also, if you're in the portal, like, depending on what level you're trying to go to, like, you don't have to necessarily, stay at the level you are. If you're a D1, there's some good D2 schools that you could transfer to, and you can actually play, like, you can actually play minutes, and then also, like I say, I wouldn't discriminate between levels. If you're on scholarship, I understand that you might want to go and get another scholarship, but don't discriminate levels, because as we've seen on The Last Dance, you got two players that played for the Bulls, Dennis Rodman and Scottie Pippen. They didn't play D1, but they are two of the best all-time players, all time. I put them both in the top 10, and they didn't play D1. You know what I'm saying? So, hey, it don't matter where you play. It matters what you do when you get there. And then, like I say, you want to make sure that, NAIA, it's you saying with the use of social media, Coach Simmons. So with social media, you want to post your highlights. So if there's a highlight reel from the last season, you want to make sure you post that. And then when you do a post, you want to make sure that you put your name, height, weight, position, GPA, and a highlight, up-to-date highlight, and post it on social media. And if it were me doing it, I'm trying to get everybody that I know that's breathing to retweet it. I'm everybody, your mom, dad, cousins, teammates, former teammates, coaches that I know, AAU coaches. Hey, I need everybody to retweet this. I'm trying to get back in school, and put it out there. And then take that same, information, customize it in an email, and you want to send it to coaches' emails. You can inbox it to them on Twitter. I will post it on all my platforms. Post your highlight on every platform. Tag coaches, hashtag basketball, college basketball. You just got to go at it. And for whatever player that might be, you might tell that player to take an hour a day. Like, hey, 1 hour per day, and all I want you to do is send emails to colleges. That's all I want you to do. And you just got to make that commitment and do it till you find something. Just go guerrilla mode. I'll tell you a couple stories, and then I'll get off here, because I know it's about an hour, 15 minutes of this already, and I don't want to take your whole evening. And so when I was at a D2 level coaching, my goal was to get 2 junior college All-Americans to come to my D2 school. So what we did, we emailed a general email to every single junior college in the country. And I'm talking about every single one. So we went on JCAA website, and we got that list printed out. And as we sent the email to every JUCO, we crossed it off. Next JUCO, cross it off. Next JUCO, cross it off. Every single junior college in the nation, we sent an email to. And so you have to use that same tenacity as a player. I want to get in school, so there is not a school that will not get my email and information and highlight. So I'm going to start with this conference. Check that school off. Check the next school off. I'm sending it to everybody. You just got to go guerrilla mode with it. Remember, NAIA schools do not always have access to the portal. If you're interested in that level, DM those coaches and programs. Right. So you're exactly right, Coach Justin. So yeah, man, I hope this was good. I love this. I'm going to have to do this a little more, but just, talking to you guys and going back and forth, conversing and questions and answering them. It's really great. So, got a couple more minutes. Any more questions before I hop off of here? Would love to answer a couple more before I go. Thank you. I think there are a lot of athletes in the portal that need to hear that. Yeah, you just can't sit in the portal, man. You gotta go after it. Like, now that schools are out, man, you have to go after it. Like, I have a spot somewhere. I'm going to get it, and I'm going to spend an hour a day sending emails out. In an hour, you can get 500 emails out. You're sending the same email. So how important is social media for players at the pro level? Good question, Radar. Man, social media is almost like your currency at the pro level. I mean, literally, you can lose jobs. When I was a professional basketball team owner, there were players that I passed up on because I looked at their social media and I saw some stuff that for me wouldn't represent what I was trying to bring to my city through my organization. So as a team owner, and I know that there's other team owners overseas and the NBA and just those different kind of people, they're checking out your social media. So if you're putting your turn up on social media, then team owners, I mean, I can speak for myself and maybe some others, I'm not looking that way because here's the thing. I'm not going to jeopardize, my team. I'm not going to jeopardize my community in terms of their support because, at a pro level, there's hundreds of thousands of dollars that's out there that you may be getting from sponsors, supporters for your team. And you got to depend on those people that, that are giving those things to give a thumbs up to just, what you're doing. So when I sign a player, there is a flock of people going to that player's social media to see what that player is about. So when it hits the newspaper that, hey, such and such pro team has just signed this player or this American or whatever, all those fans are going to look. And so if I have a big sponsor that might be sponsoring this 5 or 6 figure type of, contribution, and they're looking at the person you just signed and they're like, well, hold on, this guy is, he's drunk on his social media or his conduct, we don't agree with that. And so now you have to walk the line of, do I want this player because of his ability? Do I go talk to this player? Do I lose my sponsor because I chose a player that can play real good, but their conduct is not fitting for our community and fitting for a team that we want to support? So your social media for pro players, it's your resume. It's your online resume. You definitely have to keep it clean. You have to post, stuff on there that shows different things you're doing, good things in the community, family, your workouts, your highlights. You got to keep it clean because it's your resume. It's your resume more than your resume that you can send to a team because they're always going to go to look. And like I said, I overlooked players because I saw what they had on their social media, thought they were good people. And some guys I was able to talk to, at certain times, and there's certain situations where we were able to work it out and they understood. But there's some guys that's what they did. And, you definitely have to keep it clean. If you want a pro job, your social media has to speak volumes about you and where you want to go. And so it has to look where you want to go, if that makes sense. So, man, any more questions? Anybody, any more questions? Man, I appreciate this time. This has been amazing. Went a little over, but appreciate you guys for sticking in here. And like I said, if you need this information, I'm hoping that since this video went a little long, that I can still save it when I push in here. But send me an email, louisshine@hotmail.com, and I'll get you guys some information. So look forward to working with you, coaches. Appreciate you hopping on, and I'll talk to you guys soon. If you got any more questions, go ahead and message me. All right, talk to you guys soon. Good night.